Lily. The funeral arrangement was settled immediately. By noon, the body had been safely buried and the few attendees have made their way home. No tears were shed as a death was expected by everyone around her. For a year, she was just lying there, comatose, life slowly seeping out of her, and death eventually brought her away. Among those in attendance was Lily, a 5-year-old girl whose parents were closely related to Nek Ja, the old woman who had just passed away. Nek Ja had taken care of Lily's mother, Suzy, when she was abandoned at birth and raised her as her own. Eventually, Suzy married Nek Ja's nephew, Arman, and they conceived Lily as a result of the union. Lily had always been close to Nek Ja, while Suzy, her mother, had always been a loud and strong-headed woman. Lily grew to be the exact opposite of her. She was quiet and withdrawn, preferring to stand at a corner and observe everyone around her. The only person she found solace and comfort was with Nek Ja. She always looked forward to visiting Nek Ja and would stick to her side throughout their time, reveling in Nek Ja's stories. Even on her deathbed, Lily would sit quietly near Nek Ja, quietly holding her shriveled hand and watching the old woman breathing steadily as she slipped in and out of consciousness. A week after her passing, Lily was having dinner with her parents when she suddenly pushed her plate and said,
"Ma, I'm full. Can I have some grapes?"
Suzy, who was in the middle of describing her day at the market with Arman, stopped mid-sentence, looked at her almost empty plate and said,
"Okay, you can get the grapes from the fridge. Bring the bowl with you here, but wash your hands in the sink first."
She called after Lily, who was already halfway towards the kitchen. It was when Arman leaned back, satisfied after his meal and entertained by his wife's story of the day, when he looked around and realized that Lily had not returned to the table.
"She went to get the grapes or make the grapes?"
Arman inquired. Suzy made a face at his weak attempt at a joke and prepared to clear the dishes. It was then that they heard her.
"I have eaten. Yes, I like grapes. What are you doing there? Is it painful?" "Lily, who are you talking to?"
Suzy called from the kitchen doorway, her hands full with the empty dinner plates.
"I'm talking to Nek Ja. She is there on the tree. Can we let her in?"
Suzy froze. Uneasiness crept in, and she felt goosebumps racing up her arms. At that moment, Arman stepped into the kitchen, moved quickly towards the window, and gently pulled Lily away.
"Come, Lily. I want to see the book your mom bought for you this morning. You said you want to show me, remember? Oh, don't forget our grapes,"
he added, forcing cheer into his voice and coaxing her out of the kitchen. They passed by Suzy, and he gave her a knowing look. Suzy shakily put the plates in the sink, turned and quickly closed the windows with her eyes half shut, afraid of what she might see on the tree in front of her kitchen window. A few nights after that incident, Suzy awoke with a start. She decided to get a drink and made her way into the kitchen. Passing by Lily's bedroom door, she heard the sound of her giggle. Suzy looked up at the clock. It was 2 a.m. She leaned closer and heard,
They're sleeping. I will keep quiet. Shh.
Without hesitating, she burst through the door.
Lily, why are you not sleeping?
She asked. Lily started crying, perhaps from the shock of seeing her mother coming into the room like that, or something else that overwhelmed her to tears. Not wanting to cause her further distress, Suzy brought Lily into her room and slowly rocked her to sleep. Nothing strange happened in the weeks that followed. Lily became more talkative, a welcome change from the quiet, withdrawn girl after Nek Ja's death, much to her parents' relief. Unfortunately, the positive change did not last long. One night, they were watching a movie in the living room when there was a knocking on the door.
It's Nek Ja. She has to come play with me.
Exclaimed Lily as she ran towards the door. Suzy tried to pull her back, but luckily, Arman was faster as he leapt from the couch and barred her from opening the door.
Lily, come back here on the couch, please.
Pleaded Suzy.
No! I want to let Nek Ja in. She told me she's coming to get me.
Lily cried,
Go to your mother now.
said Arman sternly. Lily started to whimper as she slowly backed towards her mother. The knocking started again. 3 slow knocks. Pause. Another 3 slow knocks. Arman peered through the peephole at the door, but he could not see anyone outside. The knocking persisted for a while and then stopped.
Maybe it's a salesman,
Muttered Arman. Lily watched her father return to the couch and did not say a word after the incident. She went to bed shortly after.
Do you think it's...
Suzy let her sentence trail off,
No,
said Arman.
it's just our imagination. Even if it is what we think it is, we should not entertain such thoughts. She was close to Nek Ja after all.
That night, both of them were awakened by the sound of Lily talking in her room again. This time, she was standing on a chair near the open window and talking animatedly to someone outside. While the window grill was locked, ensuring them that at least she was safe, the gusts of wind blowing in, making the curtains below around her make for a scary sight. They quickly pulled her away from the room and closed the windows. Lily protested.
No! I want to let Nek Ja in!
There is no Nek Ja. Nek Ja has died. She will never come back.
Scolded Arman.
Now go with your mom and stop all this nonsense.
Something in her father's stern voice made Lily stop protesting. She quietly followed Suzy out of the room. Arman closed the windows, hair standing at the back of his neck. but he ignored the persistent feeling, telling himself that whatever entity disturbing Lily would not come in if they did not invite it into the house. Arman and Suzy felt that this was one incident too many and decided to move out of the house. Not long after, they packed up and leave, determined to let Lily have a fresh start and leave the whole Nek Ja incident behind for good. So what do you think? Or what was it that was disturbing Lily? Was it really Nek Ja that was talking to Lily? Nobody knows.